Hi there. Here's a dunking fact of the day. Did you know that if you went into cold water, i.e. you immersed yourself in cold water, be that a shower or maybe into the ocean like we do, or even while swimming, you actually increase your dopamine levels by 250%. Now, that's equivalent as if you had cocaine. Yeah. So why am I telling you this? Well, I'm telling you this morning because I've got two very special ladies with me, Emma and Hatti. And Emma and Hatti are the guiding light, no, the founders of the Abersoch Dunkers. And this is the Dunkers podcast. I'm Mark P. and welcome. Hatti, Emma, hi there.
Wow, what an intro. Hi, Mark.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure. So do you agree with this 250% increase?
Definitely, even in the depths of winter.
Wow, it's interesting that you've opened with that, because that is the reason I first ever immersed myself in cold water. It wasn't particularly glamorous. It was in a bath at home, but I had read an article. Can't remember what magazine it was. It might have been like Women's Health or something. And that was the sentence that stuck out to me of curiosity. It was basically saying, when you do it, the high that's released in your body is the equivalent of being on Class A drugs until lunchtime. And I was like, hang on a minute, let's check this out.
And I can definitely say that you quoted it a lot.
Well, I had to get you all in somehow, didn't I?
I was going to say, so Emma's a sucker for
Does that make me a drug dealer? Is that the equivalent of a drug dealer?
It's like a happy feeling drug dealer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Legal highs.
Illegal highs.
Yeah.
And do you know we can get it every day, can't we?
Yeah.
That's the great thing. Yeah. So talking of every day, there's two questions that came to mind when you gratefully accepted to come up here. And that was, when did you start it? And for goodness sake, why?
Oh my goodness. It was lockdown.
Yeah, that was the trigger really, wasn't it?
And we were all starting to get cabin fever a bit, weren't we? And we weren't doing what we wanted to do. We weren't getting out on the water. We weren't paddleboarding. We weren't surfing. And we just needed something quick. I needed something to kind of escape the house and just have 5 minutes away.
And I was on my own. So for me, it was interaction in a safe way, but also a structure, actually. Very quickly, it was quite accidental. It quickly became, in some ways, the only routine of the day.
Completely.
Because of course, with being in Wales as well, we had that extra lockdown. It really kicked off for us, I think, in the fire break, which was that in October?
Yeah.
Probably just a wee bit earlier.
Yeah.
And mid-end September.
And it was kind of, I'd done a bit of, well, I suppose it's two separate things. Initially, we weren't doing it for cold water therapy, if you want to call it that. We were doing it to get out and do something. But the two just sort of naturally then aligned and became, I can't remember. I mean, it will have been some ridiculous conversation where we've gone along the lines of, should we try and do this every day? Okay. And then before you know it, we're each other's, I don't want to say inspiration because it's often not an inspiration. It's each other's pushing factor.
Each other's cheerleader.
Okay, we'll go with cheerleader.
But there was a lot of kind of psyching each other up at the beginning.
How many times? Even now you sit there and go, don't feel like it.
And the kit, I mean, I think at the beginning there was, I didn't have a dry robe. I'd walk down in a dressing gown.
Yeah, you did walk down.
Run home. Oh, how things have changed.
Yeah. So it was the start of it. It was the transition, wasn't it, from summer to winter? So I guess as well, we started at a point that was a little bit easier because the sea wasn't like we know it can be.
No.
But yeah.
And we kind of started more in the harbour, didn't we?
Oh, why did we do that? It's awful in the harbour. It's so much colder.
Yes, because you get the river.
Yeah. And it really does. We had the river. Anyway. That's where we're at.
That's another story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I seem to remember that when Matt and Gemma, do you remember Matt and Gemma? When they were with us once, we went down, and I think Vanessa was with Sue and I, and we went down and we actually had our daily dunk, and we were dutifully following you pair, and we got in, and Matt had got a thermometer with him, and it registered 0.5. So that was pretty cold.
Yeah.
And the only reason I guess it wasn't frozen was because it was the river, and the river runs in the sea. But it was pretty cold. But we still stayed in, didn't we?
We still did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever have any thoughts about how long you should be in? Because that's a really common question that we get all the time.
Well, we kept reading things, didn't we? And we kept hearing 5 minutes, and
There's a lot of contradicting information out there. So I'm always really careful because I quite often get asked this question by people. And I feel like we started off with something we'd read about, a minute for every degree of temperature.
Yes, that was right.
But then I have seen things recently that say that's not correct. I mean, I guess if I was going to speak to somebody that had never done it before and they wanted my advice on it, I'd be like, a lot of it needs to be instinctive about how you feel.
Yeah, it's definitely personal. And I know we used to kind of get in and think, we just can't stay in for longer than a minute.
We used to get in and be like, how long? And you'd be like, 30 seconds we've done.
We used to do a little breathing, didn't we?
Yeah.
We used to breathe.
Like going into labour.
And then by the time we'd had a little chat, it was kind of ready to get out.
Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? We all know that if you've done it, that it's very quick how it changes from brutally cold to this kind of almost weird sensation where it slightly feels, it's not warm, but it's like there's a real change once your breathing adapts.
Yeah.
But that first bit can be a little bit of a shock to the system. But yeah, timing wise, I actually wouldn't like to say, because
I think it's really personal. I think it's when you've been in for too long, and you make a mental note to know for next time to not stay in as long.
Because of course there is things that you read that your body continues to drop in temperature for up to 20 minutes after you get out the water. So, you've got to take into consideration that it's not a case of you're in the water, you've had that cold water exposure, and the second you remove yourself from the water, you're warming up again. Well, we know, don't we, in the height of winter, especially if you're getting out in sideways wind and all of that stuff, it takes a while to warm up from it.
Definitely. We've learned, haven't we?
Yeah, there's a few tricks with that stuff.
The wind, it can be quite merciful.
Worse out than in.
It's just, it's dreadful.
Worse out.
Yeah.
Make it sound terrible. I'm not selling it here, but the initial.
Or as Vanessa would say, it gets me my tits, pits, and bits. Yeah. And I always thought that was that really does sum it up, because it just gets the bits that normally don't get got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it hits those bits when you're going in as well, don't you?
I think it's just for the men, but it's definitely the women.
Oh, no, it is when that hits those bits.
Yeah, we don't have that exclusively, do we, Emma? No. Yeah. So if you've obviously gone through this routine of going in, and you sort of times vary, the wind and the conditions vary as when you're coming out. What's your pre-dunk routine? Do you have a pre-dunk routine?
I tell you, my pre-dunk routine is a ping on my phone from Emma going, "Get your ass out of bed."
Nice.
Well, not so much now, I've got a child, but when we started, it was get up.
Yeah, come on.
You're my perfect alarm clock.
Beach 5 minutes, let's go.
Yeah.
So we're very different in how we appear at the beach.
I would have been up for hours.
Your teeth will definitely be brushed. You will have had your coffee.
Yeah.
You maybe even eaten.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, you eat before you dunk?
Occasionally I do.
Unusual,
I've been up early. I just need something in my tummy, just something little. But there's nothing like an after swim coffee.
No, there
it definitely hits differently.
Whereas I originally, when I first started doing this with you guys, I was very much fell out of bed into my dry robe.
Yeah, but that's pre-dunk.
I don't think I brushed my teeth.
But it's so different when you get out of the water as well. I mean, I could quite easily just chuck my clothes on wet and like to get dressed very quickly. Whereas Hattie will have like a very glamorous towel turban.
Oh, you call it glamorous, do you?
You call it glamorous. And she'll kind of still all look glam at the beach, and I will just chuck my clothes on. Yeah.
It's because I've just started waking up at that point. So I'm actually in chatty mode. Whereas Emma's like, okay, I've done what I need to do. Crack on with life now.
Back to the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So the idea that Michelle, who actually puts her makeup on before she comes down, is probably a step too far for you guys.
I love Michelle. I have not seen Michelle in the water without her lipstick. She is so glamorous. She's amazing.
She's goals.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely a barefaced. I definitely wouldn't be putting makeup on to swim in.
Well, it's, men like to see women as they are. Oh,
Thanks,
that's right.
You've not seen us any differently.
No. I'd hope you almost wouldn't recognise us on a night out if you bumped into us.
No, that's very true. Very true. So is the post dunk, then you've come out of the water, the wind is still lashing all over you. What do you do then? Just
Are we in the height of winter here? Or?
Well, yeah, let's go back to where we were. We were sort of
Okay.
October time, and we went in. And how long was it before we graduated from the harbour through to where we are now, through to the beach
wasn't
huts?
long,
would you say?
really.
God, it was like, well, it felt like it was quite hard for us to initiate people. And then when they started and it grew, we very quickly became...
Yeah, and we realised that it was, that in certain wind directions, it was more fun, more pretty, more everything,
Easier to
really,
get
on the
change.
beach. Yeah.
Tides as well, of course, had a bit of an impact on what we do.
Yeah, access was better for some of the older dunkers.
No, I think it was quite quick that we went from... Whatever, were we in the harbour? Gosh, it seems so long ago. Were we in the harbour that much initially? Is it because it's just close to your house?
It does help, doesn't it? Yeah.
You know what it was? I actually have a recollection now. I think at one point you said to me, our feet get less sandy when we...
Oh, yes. Genius.
Because, of course, we could get out straight onto the harbour wall and, gosh... God, it makes me think so many people must have seen our arse and tits over the years.
Yeah,
I think we've been subtly changing.
But it just didn't bother me.
No.
And that springs another question, because are dunkers hesitant because they are aware that they're having to get changed in front of everybody else? Or I don't think we were in the early days. I think we got to know each other and accepted each other very quickly. But nowadays, is there a hesitation because, well, what are all they doing? Stripping off on the beach in the sand?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's, everyone was just accepted and we were just doing this thing and it just wasn't. And
also, we were off the back of COVID. Nothing made sense anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, everyone has such different ways and their own routines of getting dressed and stripping off. But getting dressed, how someone would huddle in their dry robe. I'd kind of turn to a corner and just do it quickly and and then shove my dry robe on. Everyone just had a different way of doing things.
I think we're quite lucky as well with our setup on that beach. We've also, in the winter when people aren't using their beach huts, we've got that kind of little personal changing area, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, don't you go in someone else's zone, though. No.
Oh, we used to be like, this one's got more hooks and stuff. So you
start to get a bit territorial, don't you?
Yeah, let me tell you, Hattie, those hooks are still gold.
I know, aren't they just?
Yeah. Because otherwise your dry robe and everything just gets covered in sand, doesn't it? Yeah. It's pointless. Yeah. So do you think that dunking has made an impact on you mentally and physically? Physically, I guess, I don't know. You tell me.
Definitely mentally. It starts my day. It means I leave the house and my brain is just buzzing with everything I've got to do for the day, everything with the family, the children, work. And I have that 5-minute walking and then I get in the sea. I have a lovely chat. And then when I'm walking home, that's it. That's the start of the day. That's how it starts. And it means everything's all calm and okay. And I can carry on.
Yeah.
Physically.
I think there's physical benefits. I mean, again, I want to be a bit careful here. I'm definitely no scientist. But is it visceral fat?
Visceral?
Visceral? It's meant to be very good for that, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Circulation. Undoubtedly, when I was dunking more regularly, my skin was good, like at its best.
Yeah.
I think though, going back on to what Ems was saying about mentally, one of the really simple things for me is I was starting my day doing something I didn't want to do. Not didn't want to do, but it was hard.
It's not enjoyable.
No, it is enjoyable, but the process of getting into the water and, for me, getting out of bed and doing it all started my day on using willpower.
Right.
And I think that triggers then a whole day of being more proactive or
more positive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just.
Well, if you do things purposefully, that really is about your dopamine, isn't it? That's sort of release of that.
Yeah, we're back on that cocaine thing, aren't we?
Yeah, we can't get away from it.
Didn't want to say it was just all of that drug high, really.
But do you think that a community makes a difference? I'm just picking up what Emma said about coming down and it's all very calm and she sort of has a dunk and goes back and you can start the day on an even keel. Is the community sometimes a bit of a nuisance?
I say calm. Do you know how loud and chatty and noisy those dunkers are in the morning?
Yeah.
It carries across the whole beach, across the whole bay. But yeah, going back to community, it's massive. It is huge. There is the age difference in the dunkers community that's been created is incredible. And it's people that you'd never even knew existed in the village, people that you share things with that carries on, and it's gone on for years, hasn't it? And it's been a really, really lovely thing, the community side of it. And it's helped so many people in so many ways.
It's a real eclectic mix of wonderful characters from different lives. And as Em said, like we all live pretty close to each other, and this has made everyone's paths cross, and we've now got this common denominator of something that everybody loves to do every day, and it's a really positive thing and a joyful thing, and that carries through. And did I hear a rumour correctly? I don't know if this is right. Feel free to shut me down. That there's been a few little extra groups that have formed. And I heard a rumour about some happy hookers.
There's happy hookers.
There's happy hookers.
The gentlemen.
Do we need to expand on what happy hookers are?
Yeah, I think you ought to. Go for it.
Happy hookers is the ladies, Mark, correct me, that like to get together and have a good gossip.
And
do some stitching.
Crocheting.
And crocheting.
Oh, the hook, crochet hook.
Yes. Crochet hook, that's the one.
I thought we got a bit of OnlyFans coming off the back of the Dunkers then.
It's yes, they started here. So it was bless her, it's Sue who decided that she was going to start to do crocheting. So she put a group together, and very soon I think it got to about 10 or 12, and then they had to draw a line because you've got to get 10 or 12 people into different people's houses, 12
hookers in a house. Wow.
Absolutely. I could see myself as a manager.
Oh, there we go. This has escalated.
Absolutely.
I think there's another word for manager in that scenario, actually, Mark.
What, with the coin box at the door?
But when you go back to community, you think there's so many things that we've celebrated over the years. We've celebrated.
Your 40th was
my
first
40th.
You dressed as a mermaid.
You dressed me up in a mermaid tail in the worst storm possible.
December, that's why.
And we had a boat bar at 9 a.m.
Oh, we did.
Oh, no, it was a car bar.
Car bar. We had rum.
And we celebrated Mark and Sue. We had a little party on the beach when their son got married in lockdown and they couldn't make it to Australia.
Yeah, I feel a bit emotional.
And we, so many birthdays, babies that have been born. We've lost people. You
can't even really put into words what it does for community spirit and bringing people together. It's just, everything we're talking about here, there's just constant bonuses in everything about doing it.
Yeah.
Whether it's from the health benefits, the community, it's just, the fact that we're even sat here with you. And actually, we need to acknowledge Mark as
The Hoff.
well, he is the Hoff, our first male addition to the group, first
So-
male dunker.
Yeah, I don't know where the Hoff came from, though. Was that
The
yourself?
Hoff.
Hattie?
I
It
don't
was
know.
the red shorts.
Oh,
It was the red shorts every day that we thought, this guy is David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, and as we started to learn more about you, and you know, things like you water skied into your wedding, I heard,
I did.
and then the Harley Davidson, we were
Wow.
like, see, you really start to unravel people's personalities in such a nice way with this.
You do.
It's a small part of the day, isn't it? It's an hour now or so, because you guys do a lot of walking and then have a coffee, but it was a daily, I mean, other than somebody you work with, you don't have that level of seeing people
That
that
level
regular.
of connection.
Yeah.
No, you don't. And not every single day.
No, and with that, you ride through people's highs and lows with them as well. You know,
Very
you
much.
see all the different paths they're going through in lives, and like for me, you know, my life's changed significantly since
Since you
we
had
all
Nuala. Yeah.
since we all started dunking, and everybody knows and cares and loves and supports each other in a very magical way.
Mm. Do you think other groups have the same sort of connection?
Definitely not.
Go to it, Emma.
I'm sure, but it's I mean, we've obviously got a core set of dunkers that go out all year. And then we have got the visiting dunkers, which we love to see them coming back and hear their news. But I don't know, we are a very special little group that's
It's not that little.
No, it's still growing.
I mean, I feel a bit of a fraud being sat here because, as you guys know, I'm not a regular right now. My soul's there, but I'm not physically there, and I'm getting in the water in other ways. But life has meant that I'm not always able to get down when you guys meet. So I don't know everybody as well as you do now, but even just, you know, the passing of people, and there's just something really lovely about it.
Do you think Nuala will?
Are you joking? I can't get her out of the water.
Really?
I have. All I thought about when I was, not all I thought about when I was pregnant, but one thing I really wanted was like, oh God, I hope she likes the sea. Wow, that has come back to haunt me. I mean, I think she's on average 4 hours a day in there. I do try and go down in the morning and have a little dunk, but I've quickly learned the problem is if I go down early in the morning with her and I try and take her back off the beach, we have a meltdown. So then I end up potentially being on the beach for 11 hours and then, she's turning into a little prune.
I do love getting the boys in the sea.
Yeah, your two are great, aren't they?
But I do find that the morning dunk in the morning, it's the one thing that's just for me. It's just for me that
you can be selfish with.
Yeah,
that's nice.
And I love the fact that some of the other dunking mums they bring their kids down and they give them breakfast on the beach, but for me it's the one special time that I need to keep that's just for me.
And interestingly, when you said selfish, then one thing that I've learned since becoming a mum is actually being selfish sometimes is selfless, because when you take those moments for yourself, I think you can return to work or motherhood or whatever it is as the best version of yourself.
Completely.
So we're doing it for the kids.
Excellent.
And the cocaine high.
And the cocaine high, yeah. So does the fact being outside make a difference for you? Let me put this in context, because dunking has got something of a sort of a badge now. So if you go under cold water showers, you dunk. And indeed, as a throwaway, we met about a week ago, Emma, and we were talking about cold water showers. So every single day since then, I've actually had a cold water shower at the end of a hot shower to see what it was like. And it's a very different experience to dunking, but as soon as you put your head under, those experiences just meld into one. It's odd. Your body reacts very differently from the sea to the shower, but your head seems to kick back whatever it is. But it's apparently it's called the mammalian effect, and this is when if you put your head in cold water, your body will equalize its temperature far quicker than if you go in and you don't put your head in the water. And so that's why it's easier to just run into the sea rather than sort of ease yourself in, supposedly. But you've got people who are building little tubs in the back garden, aren't they? These dips,
Bins.
Yeah, exactly, bins. You've got people that just only swim in the wild water. Do you think and then you've got people that trek for 2 hours and go into the rivers of Snowdon or wherever. Do you think that nature has got that sort of connection that it holds it together, or do you think it's, in your opinion, do you think it's unique in each environment?
I mean, it depends on the person, but for me, it is being outside. It's looking at the conditions. It's the feel. It's the wind. It's everything about the nature.
There's something about sunrise, isn't there? Sunrise and sunset. There's something. Again, oh God, me and science. Why do I even start talking like this? There's something that your body gets from a sunrise and a sunset in terms of the light it receives that you can't get.
Serotonin.
Is it serotonin?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
I mean, we're a group of outdoor people, aren't we, that are here. It's part of the reason probably all of us live here. So our mindset, as Emma said, we're outdoorsy. I've moved back and forth a little bit recently, and I've tried to keep the routine of exposing myself to cold water with things like showers. I actually find, which I know is not as good for the planet, unfortunately, a cold bath easier than a cold shower.
I think you're bonkers.
I do.
Yeah, but when you...
I shouldn't comment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I can't.
That's how I started.
I can't do a cold shower or a cold bath. For me, it is just it's the sea. The sea calls me.
Yeah.
It's the movement of the sea.
But we could argue that for us, if we're honest, in the summer, we don't get the same hit, I don't think. Correct me if I'm...
You stay in longer, but I don't think, you don't get the same hit. You don't get when you come out, your body's red, your skin's red from your
Do you think you get the same endorphins and adrenaline in the summer?
I think that's still questionable, because what you're trying to do is negate that by staying in longer, aren't you? It is that hit. I agree. It is that hit. The fact that we all come out with a red suntan after about 3 minutes in there in the winter because it's 5 degrees and there's a wind of 40 that's blowing across the beach, then that does change you very quickly.
It's the elation of I've done it in January. I've done it. Whereas it's just not the same in August.
No.
Well, if you can get out and stay in your wet bikini and have a chat for half an hour and not really want to get dressed, you've not quite got the same. I suppose for me, it's coming back to that willpower thing. It's not hard. No. It's really not hard, and especially if it's a glorious morning and the sea's like a mill pond and it's clear. It really is. I mean, we don't know we're born on days like that.
Yeah, we're incredibly lucky.
What's your most memorable, Hattie? What's your most memorable dunk that you've ever had? Is there one?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question. I think that my most memorables have been the days where I've forced myself to go on my own for whatever reason I've had to, certainly in the early days.
Yeah.
Because they were so hard. Mm. Then there's memorable in other ways of the joyous occasions we've had where we've all shared, like we were talking about, marriages that you couldn't be at because of COVID and special birthdays. They're all very memorable. Gosh, there's so many.
There's been special ones when it's rained and the sun's come out and there's been an incredible rainbow or a dolphin has passed.
Of course, dolphin.
There's lots of special ones like that, but I don't know. There's been so many celebrations that.
Have you got one, Mark?
I don't know whether I have. I think it's because genuinely I enjoy every single dunk, and being the Dunkers recruiter for a couple of years.
You were.
I was avidly going up and bullying people on the beach at every available opportunity. So memorable for me, Hattie, I think, is when I get hold of people, not figuratively, I get hold of people and bring them down, or they join and we talk them into the sea, and you just see how they change when they come
you
out.
forget, don't
It's
you? That first experience, reliving other people's
Absolutely.
first experience. We also did, I don't know if you remember, early days, we had a high tide moon dunk where we all jumped off the pier.
We did.
It's not a pier, what was it? A harbour wall.
That was incredible.
We tried to film everybody jumping one off the other.
I think I've got a video of
Yeah,
that
there
somewhere.
must be.
I've certainly got if not on my phone, it's somewhere. I've got a photograph of that. It's a classic moment, that. And we are being asked, a number of people asked me a number of times. For example, honestly, only yesterday somebody said, do you think we could all go over to the quarry and have an early morning dunk at the quarry? Because the quarry is such a beautiful beach sometimes.
Yeah.
So people, although they're dunkers, they're looking for a slightly different, a wider experience.
Sounds to me,
on the
Mark, you
dunking.
need to start a Dunkers on tour.
We have tried, though. We have tried in different places. You know, we've been to Abersoch a few times and then realised that the tide goes out a very long way.
Yeah.
You know, there's been
Oh my gosh, it
ones.
just reminds me of when I hadn't drunk any alcohol for 6 months, and then I don't know, I think it was after lockdown, and then I had a big bender and you dragged me out so hungover, and we went to Abersoch End, and the tide was so far out, and I can remember walking thinking, if I don't get my head in the sea soon, I'm going to vomit. So there you go, there's one of my memorable ones. We've missed that crucial thing. Hangover cure.
Hangover cure.
Yeah.
Hangover cure, Emma. Emma's just smugly nodding.
There's nothing like immersing that head straight under the water it's not a full-on cure, but it certainly kickstarts you to get back to reality a little bit.
Absolutely.
Cleansing the soul, I call it.
Cleansing the soul.
Cleanse me of all my sins, salt water.
So one last question for people, if they are listening to this and they're just starting to dunk, what's one piece of clothing or one piece of gear that you think is absolutely vital? Besides, I guess, your swimsuit.
You're allowed to say it.
Go on.
We should probably point out at this point that Ems is pretty connected to...
Yeah, go for it.
I'd say
it's true.
Got to be a change robe. Whether it's a dry robe,
or politically correct,
red equipment. I know my favourite, the later, but it is just it definitely beats the
dressing gown. You started
the dressing gown, that snuggly hug after a swim. You can't beat it. Just can't beat it in the winter anyway.
And hugs are very important.
They're so important, Mark.
Well, that is the one.
And what about you? A turban? A towel turban?
The reason I have a towel turban is actually because Mum thought she'd bought a really nice kitchen, not a kitchen towel. What is it?
Tea towel.
Tea towel. For the house. And I looked at it and I was like, Mum, I think that's a hair towel. Actually, you joke, but that's
great.
My hair towel.
You look
when
so
you're cold,
glam.
When your hair's wet, it's not glam. But I do forget, though, that in the winter, if I walk through the village in my dry robe, which is also red, but I did have a dry robe. I shouldn't say dry robe, changing robe.
Changing robe.
I do forget when I walk around the village sometimes that I get slightly funny looks with a towel always on my head, turban towel on my head.
Do you know, I think that could be another podcast, isn't it? So on its own. With you and funny looks with turbans, Hattie, I'm sure that could.
But actually, on the height of winter, one of the things that really saved me, because when you were talking before about the difference in your body reacting to submerging, and did you say your body adjusts to it better? Correct me if I'm wrong, but we learned that as you adapt to cold water exposure, your core gets really good at drawing your blood in to keep you warm, which is why a lot of people will wear boots and gloves, but then, just a bikini or swimwear. So your hands and your feet really are where it suffers. And even at times I remember going to zip up my jacket, when your fingers catch the zip and you can feel the pain on the end of your fingers, it's so cold. So warm water to pour over your hands and feet. I mean, it's also good on your feet because it gets all the sand off. But that was always
That was a
something
good
that,
game changer, wasn't it?
I mean, some people had hot water bottles.
yeah.
Oh, heated car seat if you got in the car was just divine. But yeah.
So it's at this point you just dream about a different life.
Yeah, it's funny actually. A lot of people say to me, "Do you not want to ever wear more neoprene in the winter?" And you're in the water for such a short period of time. The pain of getting.
I mean, do you remember at the very beginning, everyone started, the ones that started, no, I'm going to wear a wetsuit. And slowly they were coming every day that realised that drying the wetsuit and even taking the wetsuit off was such a pain. So they just slowly start stripping off less and less to go in the water until it was just swimwear.
When you mentioned the bin earlier, the one thing that sprung to mind was like, oh, it'd be quite cool to be able to do it naked. I mean, that'd be the great thing. Yeah, in the garden, I'm talking about. If you had a bin of water or you can get these fantastic, they're like blow up.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Tubs.
Yeah.
The immersion tubs. People, I think one or two of our dunkers actually have them at home. And one couple, Stu and his wife, Kirsty, they put ice in theirs. So they constantly keep it sort of at the level that ice doesn't melt. And they use it a lot. I think there's another couple as well that do that. But yeah, I mean, that's urban dunking, isn't it?
Yeah, and the fact that there's so much accessibility now in different ways of getting that exposure, and companies producing these facilities that you can have at home just goes to show it's got to be hugely beneficial. There's a reason everybody's wanting to do it.
Statistically, apparently nearly 2% of the UK population dunk. Or cold water shower or wild swim. Yeah, it's that's a pretty awesome number. When you think about it. It's over 1 million people. So, well, on our podcast, what we want to do on Dunkers podcast is to try and ask our guests a particular question at the end, and then we're off air when we finish. I'm going to ask you to give me a question for the next guest that come along. So I've got a question for each of you. And I'm going to ask this to Emma because this is quite pertinent, only because I know your personal situation of the family. If you had a twin, what's the most important piece of advice you could give them?
I'd probably say go where you're celebrated, not just tolerated.
Ooh,
I think that's quite.
I've got to follow on from that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's true. Go with it's go with your people, not just people that suffer you. Just go where you know where the love is.
And Hatti, a simpler one. Are you happy?
Yes.
Yay.
Yes, I am.
Thank you both very much indeed. Really enjoyed this.
Thanks, Mark.
And if I can, I'd like you to come along again. It's we've always got stories. Our lives are always unfolding, and
maybe we should interview you.
We'll leave it
like chat with you.
We'll leave it at that. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye.